The following is a presentation of iRacing.com motorsport simulations on LSRTV, the voice of sim racing. Live tonight from the Richmond International Raceway, the 2016-2017 Upstate Racing League Blaze Enterprise MP Roy Pro Late Model Series marches into its 7th week of Thursday night short track racing action right here on LSRTV and iRacing Live. Good evening, sim racing fans, and welcome to Henrico County, Virginia for tonight's race, the Eddie's Meat Market 100. Cisco Scaramuza up here in the broadcast booth alongside Chris Murdoch. Austin Coop shall be joining us in a little bit. And of course, down the production truck, Cisco Scaramuza pushing the buttons, getting the picture you're seeing tonight. I'm doing double duty tonight here. But Chris, we're at Richmond. This is, well, there's no bones about it. This is my favorite track on the iRacing service right now. I got my first league win here. This is a unique track. I mean, the other track that I can think of something like we would visit would probably be the Iowa Speedway, but apart from that, this track is a very unique, just under 1 mile oval. It's going to be a lot of fun tonight.
Yeah, definitely, and we share a lot of things in common, Cisco. This is also my favorite track here. It's where I picked up my first official series win here on the iRacing service. It's going to be a lot of fun tonight. You know, we got a lot of drivers out here looking to make a statement, and, you know, this is the track to do it. It should be fun.
Absolutely, and before we get too far in, let's take a look at the point standings as they run right now. Justin Fuller on top of the board. He's leading. He's got 250 points. I mean, what a run for that 51 machine right now. Right behind him, though, just 1 point back, Chris, is Nicholas Rasmussen. Stefan Marinak, then all the way back in third. He's 34 points back, so kind of break away from the top two. But that's what we've been seeing out of the driving in this league. These guys have not been able to outpace each other, these top two guys, Fuller and Nicholas Rasmussen. And as far as Marinak, Stenny, and Odo goes, they're going to have a lot to do to catch up to these guys.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, there's been sort of a trend. I mean, at Iowa, we had Stefan Marinak winning. Then 2 races, Lucas Oil and New Smyrna, Justin Fuller picked up those wins. USA and Lanier, Nicholas Rasmussen picked up, and then it's Justin Fuller picked up that. So it's kind of a trend. We'll see if that trend carries on. There's a lot of other drivers looking to make their mark, get their first win in this series. So, you know, I wouldn't count anybody out, especially here at Richmond, where it's such a dynamic track and anybody can run it well. So I'm interested to see what goes on tonight.
Absolutely. We'll also take a look at the rookie points. Jason Stenny continues to lead that with 11 points over Guilherme Fortin and JD Callahan. So a tighter race kind of in the rookie points. I mean, it's 141 back to Rex Hoyle, but he hasn't been able to join us the last couple of weeks. Same with Mike Fortier and Paul Fugate. I mean, apart from that, it's 26 points back, so a lot of points left to play for in the rookie standings. That's getting closer and closer. It looks like these guys here, Chris, aren't really able to get away from each other.
Yeah, there's just a lot of close racing. It seems to be with the rookie points, everything is just kind of close together. I mean, we got Jason Stenny, who's a great driver, and JD Callahan. They're starting close together here. We'll talk about them shortly when we go into our full field rundown, but they're starting really close together. So it's going to be a tough battle for these rookies trying to battle it out for those rookie points.
Absolutely, and as the clock strikes 0 here on qualifying, we're going to get set to head down and take a look at our starting grid. And on the pole, and we were saying it all while we were warming up here, a new track record. Justin Fuller on the pole once again. That 51 has been on point tonight. He's going to get the pole with a time of 21.989. JD Callahan going to roll off second with a 22.021.
Yeah, starting third is that 16 machine of Dale O'Neill. The 43 of Jason Stenny will be fourth.
Fifth position is going to go to the 18 of AJ Hamill. Sixth going to go to Nicholas Rasmussen.
Seventh, John Ada and James McIntyre Jr. will start eighth.
Ninth is going to go to the 12 of Brian Rogers Jr. 10th going to go to Eric Hag in the Hag TV 99.
Yeah, and starting that 6th row off, that's Stefan Marinak in that 25 machine. He's 11th. 12th, Eric Spencer.
13th is going to start the number 4 of Cale Frenier, and Alex Oriens is going to start 14th.
Yeah, and he's the last driver to take time. We got CJ Lavera in that 2 machine. He'll be 15th. 16th is AJ Bunch.
17th is going to go to the 24, Brandon Odo. Charlie Ryan is going to start 18th. Nate Anderson, 19th, and 20th is going to go to Justin McDuff.
Yeah, and rounding out your field here, you got the 96 of Al Smith Jr. in 21st. 22nd, Travis Wallace. Sean Cool, 23rd. And your last driver to start this race, Jade in that 65 machine. He's starting 24th.
And that's a look at our full qualifying order for tonight's race. So let's take a moment. We got a little bit of time. Let's look over these track facts here tonight. Of course, we mentioned it. Richmond, a very unique track. It's not quite a mile. It's just short. It was opened in 1947. We got an asphalt concrete surface here. Not a whole lot of banking. 14 degrees in the turn. That means tire degradation is going to be key here tonight, Chris. These guys got to take care of those tires. But the good news is they do have 4 of them in the pits tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how these drivers treat the track. You know, when I was driving it, and it's been a while since I've done a race here, but you have to get right up next to that wall and kind of dive it into the corner, hit that yellow line, stay on that yellow line, and off the corner. So that's really, you're really going to need to be fast here, but it's going to be all about tires. As you said, you got to conserve those tires. You can wear off your right sides real fast here, so it's going to be interesting to see who conserves tires better.
2 pace laps, of course. We are at a track under a mile. That means we're going to have 2 pace laps behind the American Childhood Cancer Organization Ford Mustang pace car. So I get a moment. Chris, what are you looking to see here tonight? I mean, we know how fast Justin Fuller has been, but Nicholas Rasmussen's been his tire tracks. What do you look to see here tonight?
Well, one thing I'm confused about because, you know, we've seen Justin Fuller and Nicholas Rasmussen. They've been starting up front these past few races, but as Justin Fuller continues to start on the pole, Nicholas Rasmussen, he's fallen all the way back to 6th. He's got a little bit of work to do, get around the rest of these car. JD Callahan, he was fast in practice, not fast in practice, he was 17th in practice, but he got that pole, that outside pole with the 22.0, so I'm gonna be looking to him maybe play spoiler in these guys' parade and maybe get his first win of the season.
And of course, we want to thank the sponsor for tonight's race, Eddie's Meat Market. They helped us out sponsoring the event. Thanks, guys, for doing that. But either way, the pack makes its way down the backstretch for the final time, and Justin Fuller gonna get ready to get on that loud pedal. We appreciate you joining us here tonight, Thursday night, here on LSRTV and iRacing Live. The pace car heads to pit road. Green flag gonna be in the air. We're waiting on Fuller for the gas pedal. There it is right there. Green flag in the air, and Justin Fuller waited a little bit, but now on the gas.
Yeah, and he's on the gas hard. He's already cleared that 29 of J.D. Callahan, and Dale O'Neill looks to be making his move on that 29 as well. He's going to not quite clear him coming off the corner, but he'll clear him going in here. We got a 2-car battle, 18 of A.J. Hamill and the 43 of Jason Stinney. A.J. Hamill goes right around that car. So you see a lot of the cars making their passes early while they got these fresh tires and try to get up there. They can't afford to let that 51 of Justin Fuller get away on these starts as he's done so many times in the past.
Absolutely, Chris, and a little bit of a tough start for Eric Haag in that 99. He caught the wall right as they headed into turn 1 the first time. Not a good corner entry for that 99. You can see the right front damage there. That's going to plague him all race, but he's just got to get back after it as that Haag TV Apex Racing TV car going to continue to battle. Stefan Marinak down on the inside. The 12 of Brian Rogers Jr., they're going at it right now for that position, and it looks like Marinak's going to get the edge, but of course he's using that bottom side, using up those tires right now. He's able to get by that 12, and Marinak looks like he's on a roll tonight.
Yeah, and the bottom side is definitely where you want to be. As you see Brian Rogers Jr. get right back on the back bumper of that 25 machine. He's not going to do anything this corner. He's probably taking it easy. You see he's not really running the bottom line as you get into the corner. He's kind of riding up that top line and diming it down in there and coming off of the corner hard. So it's going to be interesting as you see him running about half a lane up from everybody else. So he's running a different line. It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out for him. But if we jump up here to the front too, you got Dale O'Neill and Justin Fuller. Dale O'Neill has been on the back bumper of that 51 machine for the entire he hasn't let up. He hasn't let Justin Fuller get away from him, and I'm going to say within the next few laps he'll be right back on that back bumper of that 51 machine.
And that's kind of odd to see out of Justin Fuller. I mean, usually just kind of pulls away here, but Dale O'Neill making himself heard here tonight. And this is the first time we've really seen the 16 in a position like this, you know, challenging for the league and challenging for the lead rather, and staying with the leader. But Fuller able to pull out a little bit of a gap there, about a car length and a half there this time on O'Neill. So now it looks like Fuller's tires, he's starting to pick up the pace a little bit here. And meanwhile, the 29 of J.D. Callahan, I mean, talk about a guy, he needs points in the rookie points right now to get past Jason Stenny, and he's doing it right now. He's third right now. Drop back, he started second, but still a great run for that 29 car.
Yeah, and I know it's early, but you gotta go back 2 positions to see the leader of those rookie points, Jason Stenny. He's doing awesome. He's finished within the top 10 these past few races, and he's in 5th right now on the back bumper of that 18 car. So he's going to be looking to get up there as he runs a little bit wide going into turn 1, and he'll mat the pedal down to the floor. He'll run wide as Nicholas Rasmussen in that 71 machine. We talked about him starting 7th. He's up 1 position, and 6 says there's a caution out on the track.
Caution out on the track. We'll try and figure out what happened there. We're looking for it. I see the 99 slow towards the back of the field. I believe it was the 99 Eric Hag. We're going to get a look at the replay to try and figure out what happened, Chris. But, yeah, looks like a little bit of trouble for Eric Hag. He got a little bit loose there.
Yeah, and Eric Hag was one of those drivers who's been struggling with the car from the get-go. You mentioned that on the start he got a little bit into the wall there, so really unfortunate for that 99 machine. It just gets a little bit loose off the corner and it just goes around, so hopefully he can get it back going again and just get back up to the front.
And great job by the rest of the drivers there. None of them actually piled into that wreck, so the caution came out only because the 99 was a spinning car blocking the track. And meanwhile, not a whole lot of cars down pit road. We're taking a look right now. Yeah, it's pretty empty on pit road, which, I mean, we're only 8 laps in, Chris. These guys do have a limited amount of tires, so they can't be going through the tires like toothpicks here tonight, and everyone deciding, we're only 8 laps in, we don't need them.
Yeah, and you got to think we only got 1 set of tires, or I'm going to steal something for our friend Austin Coop. You got 2 jacks on the car. You can go up once on the left side and once on the right side, so you want to make the most out of those 1 set of tires you have, and you don't want to use them too early, because if you use them too early, then you can find yourself in a bad position. You know, this track is so tough on tires, so it's not surprising to me that nobody came down pit road this far.
Yeah, absolutely, and, you know, I guess you could take 1 tire if you wanted to do it, but not really worth the effort, I would think, so you got 2 jacks, hey, why not? But either way, I'm just looking back through the field right now. You got a couple team cars, obviously the 43 Jason Stain, we talked about him, but right behind him is Nicholas Rasmussen. I gotta think that a little bit similar setups. Obviously, you got the teammates there, Chris. Those guys are going to be working together. They probably worked together all week and prepping for this race. And I mean, Stefan Marinak, also a guy who's been already charging through the field. I mean, he started back in 11th. He's running 7th right now. So great job out of that Flash Monte Carlo.
Yeah, definitely. You know, teamwork is always important at tracks like this, especially with the bigger tracks we go to in this schedule. You always got to keep tabs on your teammate, make sure you guys are on the same page, especially this early on in the race. Make sure you guys know what each other is doing and just keep up to date on that driver. You never want to get off on the wrong foot with a teammate, especially close racing in these late models. So good driving out of the 43 and that 71 of Nicholas Rasmussen.
Yeah, absolutely. Those guys doing a great job, but we're going to double it up this time for the restart. So we'll take you through the top 10 right now. Justin Fuller currently leads. Dale O'Neill's going to be starting to his outside. J.D. Callahan is going to run 3rd. A.J. Hamill 4th. Jason Stenny 5th. Nicholas Rasmussen 6th. Stefan Marinak 7th. John Ada 8th. 9th's going to go to Brian Rogers Jr. And McIntyre is going to round out your top 10. So, Chris, this is going to be an interesting restart here. A little bit of laps on the tires, but not too much. So we'll have to see what these guys have on the restart here.
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to be paying attention to that 16 of Dale O'Neill. He was on the back bumper of the 51 of Justin Fuller for a long time, so it's going to be interesting to see if he can actually get the pass done as they're all jumbled up here.
Yes, they are, and the pace car going to jump to the end of pit road here. He's in. Green flag back out, and Justin Fuller wasted a lot less time on that time. Got right back in the gas pedal. He leads here as they head down to turn 1.
Yeah, he made quick work of that 16, cleared him and got up to the wall, goes in. You got J.D. Callahan now. He's in 3rd place. He passed that 18 of A.J. Hamill with ease going in there because he was on the bottom side, as we mentioned so frequently before. The bottom side is where you want to be, especially this early in the runs. So you got J.D. Callahan. He started 2nd, back to 3rd. He's looking to reclaim that 2nd place for Dale O'Neill.
Yeah, absolutely, and a little bit close there between the 18, the 43 is steady. That was Hamill came up the track a little bit there. He holds on to it, so a little bit bunched up there, Chris. But as they head through 3 right now, it looks like everyone's single file for the most part.
Yeah, and it looked like the 25 of Stefan Marinak, he kind of benefited from that because Nicholas Rasmussen kind of checked up, and it allowed the 25 to make the move on the inside and get a ride around that 71 machine. So now he's on the back bumper of that 43, so Stefan Marinak making his way through the field here.
Yeah, Marinak is just on rails. He's been on rails since the beginning of this race. Meanwhile, side by side right behind him, the 12 of Brian Rogers Jr. stuck up the track, and John Ada says, thank you very much. He takes the spot. Now, to the inside of them, that 54, Charlie Ryan, who didn't have a great start back in Irwindale, if you remember, 2 weeks ago, and trying to make up for it right now on the inside, that Mustang, trying to get past Brian Rogers Jr. in that SS on the top side.
Yeah, and this track is such a momentum-based track. If you just get off the corner or into the corner wrong, one driver will be able there to pick up on your mistake, and other drivers will follow suit. As you see, the 24 of Brandon Odo now, he's on the inside of Brian Rogers Jr., so making quick work of that 12 machine as he's stuck on the outside. And
Stefan Marinak just gained another position on Jason Stenny there, so we'll keep an eye on that 25. You'll be able to follow along on the ticker on the top of your screen to see what the leaders are up to. But meanwhile, we follow this battle back here. Brandon Odo has not really had the season he wants, Chris. I mean, he's run decently. Never mind, we'll get back to that in a minute. Caution back out here on the racetrack, and problems once again for the 99 of Eric Hack.
Yeah, the 99 just can't seem to figure this track out. He's struggling here. We're only on lap 18 of 100, so it's really not that big of a deal right now. But, he just got to get his composure, get back in here, and just try to take it easy and figure this track out if he wants a shot to get back up towards the front.
And that time he was not alone in that caution. The 2 there of CJ Aver got a little bit of right front damage as the 99 hit the wall, spun in front of him. So CJ a little bit, wrong place, wrong time there. Not a whole lot that Fusion could have done. So now he's got a little bit of right front damage as we see in our screen there. He's going to have to come down, probably service that a little bit. Or they might try and run it, but Eric Hag, as you saw just there, he pulled it into the pits and said, yeah, I'm done for the night. 2 was enough.
Yeah, a little bit of frustration there on the 99's part. He had damage on his rear end and on that right side. Just couldn't figure this track out. Sucks to see him go this early on, but, this track is pretty tough on these cars.
Absolutely. It's a tricky track, and I mean, like I said, we went to Iowa, and that would be about the closest track I would equivalent to this. But, I mean, the other tracks in the schedule, it's not really like Irwindale. Irwindale's a lot more kind of progressive banking. It's a little more of a, I guess, standard oval, I guess you could say. And, Lanier, it's not like a short track because Lanier, these tracks, the other tracks that we'll go to in the season, places like Concord, those are a lot shorter than Richmond. I mean, Richmond is a full-blown cup track at the end of the day. So, outside of Iowa, this place is kind of unique on the schedule here. And, of course, 100-lapper, a little bit shorter of a mileage distance, but a lot of laps here tonight at Richmond. This is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely a lot of fun. Love Richmond. Love all the racing it brings in. It's been an intense, 20 laps so far, Cisco. It's been, 2x2. You've got battles for the lead going on. You got the 16 of Dale O'Neill always on the back bumper. The 51. He's not going to let Justin Fuller get away from him this early on. And Richmond always produces great racing, and we're seeing it here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've already seen plenty of side-by-side action here. Of course, Justin Fuller has led every single lap here of this race. But, I mean, the 25, not too far back. I mean, Stefan Marinak, he started in 11th, and in 20 laps is all the way up to 5th. He gained 6 spots in 20 laps, a good amount of which were under caution. So, at 25, he's hooked up tonight. We know what he can do. Already, I believe, has a win this season. But Stefan Marinak has just been on the rails tonight.
Yeah, and one thing that it may not look like, but that 25 of Stefan Marinak is just taking his time. He's not forcing any issues or anything as we double up, as the lights go off on top of the pace car, I should say. That 25 is doing a great job. He's just taking his time, making moves where he sees them, and just picking up on other drivers' misfortunes.
Hey, Chris, want to take a wild guess where Marinak's only win this season was?
Iowa, I think, was it not?
Yes, it was. Iowa Speedway, a track very similar to this. So go figure, Marinac does well at Iowa, and we're at a track very similar to Iowa, and he's once again doing very well. The American Childhood Cancer Organization Ford Mustang pace car gets set to make the left-hand turn to pit road. It's down. We're waiting on Justin Fuller. There it is, the gas pedal, green flag back in the air, and Fuller once again gone with the wind, and he is out to a huge lead as they head down to turn 1.
Yeah, and I'm looking at that 29 machine of J.D. Callahan. He's now on the inside of that 18 A.J. Hamill. He's going to clear him on the inside, but then you got the 25 of Stefan Marinac. He's already... Clearly, we haven't even done a lap yet. He going into 3. He's on the inside. He's going to clear that 18 of A.J. Hamill. Not the start the 18 wanted probably there. He dropped 2 positions, but Stefan Marinac not holding back this time.
No, absolutely. Marinac did a great job on that restart, and once again, foot to the floor. I mean, he's flying through this pack, and the 18 kind of got stuck there in a little bit of a pick behind that 29. So we see side by side Charlie Ryan once again flying through the field. He did this, like we said, at Irwindale, had a little bit more trouble, had some damage happen because of that. But Charlie Ryan, I believe he's one of our biggest movers right now. I mean, he started back in 18th. We thought Marinac was going fast. Charlie Ryan is not too far behind him. He is also on the move.
Yeah, he's up 12 positions. In that 6th position, he's on the inside of that 71 Nicholas Rasmussen. He's going to clear him going into this corner, maybe going to make it stick. He will, as you see the 43 of Jason Stinney now trying to make a move on his teammate Nicholas Rasmussen, but can't get it done this time. So Charlie Ryan doing great here tonight. As Nicholas Rasmussen going to look not going to make the move time, gonna stay in there, get right on the back bumper of that 54 machine.
Rasmussen's trying everything he can to try and get a little bit of a run, but now even his teammate behind him is trying to get a little bit of antsy here. And meanwhile, Marinac, we're going to jump ahead to look at Marinac. He's caught up to that 29 there, so he's going to make a battle for 3rd here. Marinac down to the inside, and 29 said, hey, you're fast, I'll just let you go here. So Marinac just got, he's on the podium now, Chris, doing a great job. Meanwhile, a little bit of contact there back in the pack. We saw it, the 97 of John Ada got into the rear end of the 24 of Odo there. He got shuffled way back there, did John Ada, and Brandon Odo has a little bit of damage on the right rear.
Yeah, heavy damage on that right side. Is kind of caved in a little bit. Not going to do too much here at a track like Richmond, but, you know, unfortunate to get a lot of damage on that rear end. But, yeah, as you mentioned, Stefan Marinac already up 2 positions from that start. You know, it's always fun in games when you're up there and it's just a 2-car battle like it is, but with Justin Fuller and Dale O'Neill. But when you see a car like Stefan Marinac just start creeping up, it's going to be a little bit concerning, especially here on lap 30.
Well, I'll tell you what, the freight train came, and A.J. Hamill did not benefit at all from that. The 54, the 71, the 43, they're all gone around the 18 of Hamill there. A.J. Hamill not having the run he had, started 5th back to 8th. He's lost 3 positions. Not a great run so far from the 18, but he's going to look to strike back on the 43 of Stenny here as we head down towards 1.
Yeah, he wasn't able to get down on the bottom side of the track. He was stuck there from that pick at the beginning of the run. And you see Jason Stinney run a little bit wide up there in the track. So Jason Stinney get a little bit, you know, loose up there, rides up the track, allows A.J. Hamill to get right around him. So A.J. Hamill now back on the bottom side. He's able to settle down and maybe try to regain some of the spots that he lost.
A little bit of a battle back in the pack. I saw it just out of the corner of my eye. The number 4 of Cale Frenier also trying to make a couple bit of moves here. He started 13. He's back in that position now, and right behind him, they're side by side. John Ada, who of course had that contact. We see it on the front nose of that Mustang, and then to his outside, the 06 of James McIntyre. He's fallen back a little bit as well. Started 10th back on that restart. He's back to 14th. So not a great run for him, but the leaders are starting to get a little bit closer. Justin Fuller is getting hounded once again by Dale O'Neill in that 16, and Marinac is closing the gap. I have to say, if Marinac gets the leaders, we know Justin Fuller's strong, but it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, definitely. Stefan Marinac not wasting little time here, as he's already almost up to the back bumper of that 16 machine. So, Dale O'Neill's got to put a lot of his focus into that 51. He doesn't want to let that 51 drive away from him, but he's got to keep his eye on that 25 as the 25 gets a little loose coming off a 2 there. We just saw that, as you know, he's just driving a little bit too hard. I think he's got a lot of heat in the tires. The tires are a little bit hot. He's going to be a little loose off the corner. He's got to drive it easy for a few laps and get those tires cooled back down.
And Justin Fuller seems to get better as the run goes on. I think O'Neill has something for him on the short run here, but when it comes to long run, I just don't think anyone can catch that 51. I mean, Marinac's lost a lot of ground here in this past lap, and Charlie Ryan now going to jump to the inside of the 29 there. and of J.D. Callahan at the line. Ryan wasn't able to get it, but he's going to have the preferred lines to head back down into turn 1 right there. So Charlie Ryan trying to make a move back up to the front here, and he's doing a great job. I mean, biggest mover so far on the day, a little bit of contact, a little bit into the right front of the 29. Callahan's going to say, all right, if you want it that badly, I'll just give it to you. So he's going to drop in behind the 71 Rasmussen, probably hopes to strike back a little bit right there.
Yeah, definitely, as the 71 is just riding behind that 54 machine. He's not really pushing anything. He's just using the 54 machine as kind of a pick and just riding through the field with him. So these two are on rails, as Stefan Marinak is now falling off a little bit from Dale O'Neill and allowing that 54 machine of Charlie Ryan to catch up to him. So maybe Stefan Marinak used the stuff a little bit too early. So if there's any chance that we get a pit stop, we're definitely going to be looking to see that 25 come down pit road.
Yeah, absolutely. He's losing a lot of ground. Battle for the lead. Dale O'Neill has caught the 51 of Fuller. He jumped to the inside there that time. I think Fuller let him catch him a little bit because he knew the 16 wasn't going to be able to get it done on the inside. He just didn't have the run. But this is a great run through 4 right now. And Dale O'Neill, I think, is just hounding that 51. But Fuller has got to keep looking in that rearview mirror. This is not good for that 51. Look how the 16 really rolls the corner there, Chris. He gets a great run through the center, but Fuller just pulls on the exit a corner there.
Well, if you notice, you see that Justin Fuller's running a full lane up from that 16 machine. As there's a caution out on the track, this is going to halt this battle for now. It's going to be the 06 of James McIntyre Jr. He's got heavy damage on that right side and that right rear.
And the 31 also of Alex Oriens also has a lot of damage. He was stopped on the track there, so we're going to wind back the camera, see what we can find out there. Might have been 2 incidents here, Murdoch, as I saw. We're going to take a look first at the contact between the 31 and the 73 here on the racetrack. There was a little bit of contact there. Oh, no, he just lost in 73, had nowhere to go, so a little bit of contact there. Nowhere he could go. And as far as the 06 is concerned, that must have been a different accident.
Yeah, definitely. I guess I saw a different accident. As we got leaders down pit road, we got Justin Fuller on pit road. Dale O'Neill elects to stay out. But yeah, that's where we've seen most of our cautions here. Is just people coming off the corner and just losing it. We saw it with the 99 of Eric Hagen. Now we see it with the 31 of Alex Oriens. It's just not. It's just. This track is just so tricky. I'm trying to say here, it's just a tricky track. And if you get off the corner with a little bit too much wheel in it, you'll go around, as we're seeing here.
Decent crop of cars on pit road, though, Murdoch. So what we're going to do here is our leader, the 16 of Dale O'Neill leads. We're going to take a moment, step aside, do a little bit of a crew rotation, and Austin Coop will bring you back here for the Eddie's Meat Market 100 live right here on LSRTV and iRacing Live. We'll be right back.
And we're back here at Richmond as we're under caution for the 3rd time tonight, as the 73 of Eric Spencer and the 31 of Alex Oriens, they made contact here, but we now have a lead change as Dale O'Neill assumes the lead as Justin Fuller comes down pit road. Pace cars off here. We are waiting on that 16 to hit the gas. He does with that 25 of Stefan Marinak on the outside, not getting the start he wants. He's being challenged by that 54 of Charlie Ryan as they go off into 1.
Yeah, down to turn 1 right now. Murdoch, as they head through the corner for 54, Charlie Ryan still stuck on that inside there, not able to make a whole lot of ground. But either way, as they head through 3 and 4 right now, Charlie Ryan going to try and get past Stefan Marinac.
Yeah, and these have been our two biggest movers now for second. Dale O'Neill has got to be loving this right now in his mirror, as it just allows him to have the wide open track and just have just free reign of this track. You know, Charlie Ryan now getting past that 25 of Stefan Marinac and going to have a lot of room to work with now.
Yeah, they're seeing them do some real good battle up here on the track. And you know, when it comes to Richmond, you got to think about how fast you can go on the bottom and the tire wear that you're going to be seeing with these guys. You're seeing some double wide around the track here. You know, that's not going to go anywhere anytime soon, as we're seeing some good battles towards the middle of the pack.
Yeah, definitely one person I'm paying attention to on fresh tires, Justin Fuller, as he makes it 3 wide for that 12th position, I should say. He's going to be moving up 3 positions there. So he's on rails right now. He's the only the only car, I should say, that came down for 4 tires. It looks like he's on rails. He's making his way through the field as he's on the outside. The 86 of Travis Wallace now. He's going to pass him with ease, but he's going to get stuck behind this 5 of Sean Cool, and he's going to get blocked in by these cars that are too wide in front of him.
And that 24, Brendan Odo, he also was trying to make it 3 wide, and it didn't work out for him, and he was on the bottom line. So that's got to show you something, that even when you're in the bottom line, you still have to rely on that momentum. That 24 car, he's not a slow guy out there. He's really pulling these guys together, and you know, he had that little bit of a stop, and you're going to see them go 2 by 2 for the top 5 position here. That's going to be the 28, it looks like, or the 29 of J.D. Callahan in 5th on the inside, leading that pack, and they're going to start slinking up here to the top 4 in front of them, start getting away.
Yeah, and we
got a spinner, turn 2, number 2 around, or number 5 it looks like, maybe C.J. Levere or Sean Cool.
It was C.J. Levere. He got around off of 2. He's now getting that car going once again. Not too much damage as I can see here, so it looks like he's going to be able to get it back going, but really unfortunate for that 2 car of C.J. Levere.
Yeah, watching him get in the corner, he dove it down and he just lost it. And we've been talking about how this has kind of been a theme at this point. Drivers in turns 1 and 2, they're just losing the car, they're losing the handling. It's not on the exit. I've noticed on the 3rd caution, now the 4th caution here tonight, that the number 2 car lost it on the entrance of the corner. He may have locked up the wheels, and that is very easy to do in these late models. You can do that with ease, especially if you get on the brakes too hard, as you're seeing a good number of drivers start to come down pit road, and that's a lot of drivers. You're seeing the 12, the 28, the 28, the 24. A lot of these drivers are coming down for tires, and that's going to be an interesting strategy call, as we know the tire rule.
Yeah, you only have 1 set of tires, and Coop, I said it earlier, I kind of stole your thing. We have 2 jacks here, as you like to put it, so you see all the drivers come down pit road. They saw how fast Justin Fuller was on that restart, and they just couldn't afford to lose that much time to a driver like that, so they're all going to come down pit road, get their 4 tires of fuel, and be right back out.
Yeah, we're 50 laps there. We're halfway. So for a lot of these guys, they're thinking to themselves, hey, this is the perfect time to do it. You know, we know what the car is going to be like after 50 laps of racing. And now after, 50 laps of racing, they can have those nice green, fresh tires out on the racetrack and showing what they have. You know, Stefan Marinac showing on the way, and then Dale O'Neill right behind them. And then you're going to have some new faces up towards that top 5 group. The 43 of Jason Stenney will be up there with Justin Fuller. As we know, he's started first, now 3rd, and then Justin McDuff. He's in 4th right now. That's the first time we've seen him in the top 5 all night. And then Al Smith Jr. is also cracking the top 5 in that number 96 machine. So with a lot of these guys coming down pit road, this is going to regulate those guys with older tires, and it's going to give the guys up front, like Stefan Marinac and Jason Stenney, a little bit of a buffer if they're able to pull away from some of these guys.
Yeah, definitely, but not too big of a buffer, because, on that 3rd caution, we had that 51 of Justin Fuller, come down pit road, so there's only about, so he'll be able to get by these drivers, because we've only run about 2 to 3 laps on these tires, so it shouldn't be too hard for the 51 machine to get by these leaders. But for the rest of these people in the back, you got J.D. Callahan, Nicholas Rasmussen, all those drivers that came down pit road. There's a big group of these people that haven't taken tires. So if anything, J.D. Callahan and Dale O'Neill, they're going to lose time to that 51 machine because the 51 machine is going to be out in front while all these drivers are trying to fill through this buffer.
Yeah, and as we are approaching the lap 52 here, we are going to go through our midway race break presented by Eddie's Market. And then Stefan Marinak, he's up in the front, and he has that number 1 position as we will be going 1 to go this time by. And then Jason Stenney behind him, Justin Fuller, Justin McDuff, Al Smith Jr. in 5th, AJ Bunch 6th, John Ada 7th, Eric Spencer 8th, Sean Cool is in 9th, and Dale O'Neill 10th.
Yeah, Charlie Ryan in that 54 machine. He'll be 11th, 12th, J.D. Callahan, Nicholas Rasmussen 13th, 14th, Brian Rogers Jr., Brandon Odo 15th, Travis Wallace 16th, 17th is at 4 of Cale Frenier, Alex Orions 18th, A.J. Hamill, and C.J. Levere rounds out your top 20.
And the last 4 cars out there are Jay Dubeck, James McIntyre Jr., Eric Hagg in 23rd. 1 lap to go, and that's our midway race break presented by Eddie's Meat Market and iRacing. For more information on the variety of sim racing, you can go to iRacing.com and sign up today. Here we go. Stefan Marinak will lead us to the green flag. Pace car is off. When does he go? He goes now. 25's on the gas pedal, and he gets a pretty decent start there in front of some of those guys behind him. They're still 2 wide behind him. The 51 on the inside, 43 on the outside, and we have noted how the bottom is so good. Look at that. That's a move from the 54 of Charlie Ryan on the very bottom of the track. That's a good move for him, and he made that stick, and we got 3 wide behind him almost. 97 takes a better look at it. That was John Ada looking 3 wide.
Yeah, you got to think all these drivers on fresh tires, they're looking to make quick work of all these drivers who have not pit yet. Justin Fuller, he's the first driver on fresher tires. He's in 2nd. He's right on the back bumper of that 25 of Stefan Marinak. Stefan Marinak able to hold his own a little bit here, not allow that 51 machine to catch him too much. But you got to think when the tires will kick in here in a few laps, and that 51 will be right back around that 25 and leading this race once again.
Yeah, and with all these guys, you are seeing 3 wide. The 54 is going to the very bottom of the track. Again, it's going to be 3 wide into turn 1. He's going to make it stick for the time being. Can he slide up? He will get both of those cars in that corner. He's still in the very bottom of the track, and they will go 2 wide out of the corner. That 54 is making hay, and he's going to start catching these guys, getting the top 5 position here shortly, and they're spacing out a little bit in front of him. Looks like Justin Fuller is no longer on the back of bumper. He's actually losing a little bit to Marinak, and then the 43 is kind of just sitting pretty in 3rd.
Yeah, definitely. And, 3 wide is something we don't get to see a lot of here at Richmond, especially with the low banked track. It's always really dangerous as you come off the corner. It kind of just narrows out, and you just lose all that room. So it's very cool to see it when we get to see it in that 54 machine's making work. He's just now around that 96 of Al Smith Jr., so he's looking to be right up there. He's now in 5th, right behind that 20 of Justin McDuff. He's looking to make moves and get right back up there to where he was before.
And considering a lot of the tracks that we go to, Richmond's not that terribly of a small track for some of these guys. We go to New Smyrna, Lucas Oil, Lanier, certain tracks like this. This is one of the short tracks you can actually go 3 wide. Now, whether you can make it stick on the bottom, that's a different question. And then that poses the question of whether that 54 is completely using up his tires just to get into the top 5, which he did successfully. He's in 4th, right behind Stenney, and Stenney's losing some ground on the guys in front of him, which is only opening the door for that 54 car, and then he's probably going to get around him here in this corner. He does go to the bottom of the track to execute a pass, and he's going to be right door to door right there with the 43. He's going to make that pass work, and the 54, he's got a little bit of work to do, but he does have good tires on his hand. And there is another caution. Looks like it's going to be in turn 2 again. I see the 4. He is slow, and I don't think he's the only one. We got 2 other slow cars, the 31, and it appears the 22 as well.
Yeah, definitely. Unfortunately, as you see the replay come up on your screen, just a lot of cautions happening in that turn 2 corner. And so it's not surprising to me that we're seeing another one here.
Yeah, they have been coming out quite often. You know what you say, cautions breed cautions. And for guys who didn't pit or have not pitted yet, this is perfect because they ran 10 laps on those tires, and 10 laps means a lot. You're seeing a lot of drivers like Marinak come in and a few others, and this is exactly what they were hoping would happen, because now they have an advantage for the rest of the race, and we are stopped. So you see the 20, the 43, the 96 also come down, and the 18 is also coming down. That's AJ Bunch, and these guys, this is exactly what they wanted to see, especially if they weren't quiet at the front. You know, the 25 machine of Marinak, you know, he really wanted to see this because he was at the front already. But some of these guys towards the back, they're looking for a second chance, and maybe tires is going to be it, as you're seeing multiple jacks go up on the right side.
Yeah, definitely. You always, want to wait to the last minute to get your tires just to have that edge on your opponent, especially when, we're having as many cautions as we're having here tonight. Waiting to the last possible chance you can is always beneficial, as you see now. Stefan Marinak comes off the pit road and all that. So it's going to be interesting to see how these tires work for him. He's going to have about 5 lap faster tires than the rest of the field that pit the caution before. So he's sitting pretty good right now.
And the laps are ticking off pretty quick. It was only a little bit ago that I actually entered the booth and we were 40 laps into it, and about 10 minutes later, we're already 20 laps into this race with 2 cautions. So these laps are going to start kind of going by really quick. These cars are not slow. I mean, they're not as fast as at the Premier Series of NASCAR, but at the same time, these cars are going about almost 100 miles an hour in the corners, ticking off some pretty fast lap times. We're seeing times as quick as 22 seconds. So, with these new tires, some of these guys can't be playing the waiting game, and that's why they took tires now. And then some of these guys up front they hope that the guys behind them can give enough of a buffer. Charlie Ryan, Justin Fuller being 2 of those guys, being the front runners up front, hoping that this is just this caution doesn't breed. The longer they go, the better chance they'll have at staying up front.
Yeah, definitely. And for even the 51 of Justin Fuller, who was on fresher tires than that 25 of Stefan Marinak, was losing time to that 25. As we mentioned before, I think Cisco and I mentioned it before, Stefan Marinak is always so good at these tracks. His last win in this season was at Iowa Speedway, so he's always good at these types of tracks, and it's showing here tonight that he can just use up the tires to his advantage, and now he's on fresh tires, so the rest of these guys need to look out.
Yeah, only a few more laps left, and if you've talked about anybody throughout the whole season, you'd probably talk about Justin Fuller and the 25 of Stefan Marinak, and a few others as well, including Brandon Odo. When you talk about some of these drivers and you're seeing the common faces up front, that you're seeing the Rasmussen, Odo, O'Neill, and some of these guys are really wanting their shot at the top 12 at the end of the season, so that they can make their way into the chase and then really have a brand new start, which is exactly what it is. They're going to be basically reformatted as if it was the beginning of the season and going on for those last few races there at the end of the season.
Yeah, definitely. And one driver I'm paying attention to in this race, that 54 of Charlie Ryan, he pit that last caution. He's already back up to second place on that outside of Justin Fuller. He's been making his way up through the field, and no discredit to him, but we just haven't talked about him a lot this season, so it's good to see him doing well.
Yeah, and the pace car comes off the track, and we'll see what he has. And then he look at Justin Fuller. He definitely stacked up the field good, trying to make it. 54 didn't get a good start. That's exactly what happened. Green flag in the air, down to the turn 1. They're 2x2 all the way back to the back of the pack, and the 54 gets a good launch off the corner. But the 16 of Dale O'Neill, he's sticking with him, and just like you said, he has a tire advantage, it seems. But will it matter if he gets past? He's got to get up to Justin Fuller now, and he's got a car on the inside. That's Dale O'Neill.
Well, we've seen a lot of this time. We've seen a lot of that 16 of Dale O'Neill and Justin Fuller up in the top 2, so it's no surprise that Dale O'Neill was able to make that pass on Charlie Ryan, even if Charlie Ryan was on the outside. So Charlie Ryan's going to look to regain himself, get back on that bottom, and hopefully make a pass on the 16 of Dale O'Neill, as Dale O'Neill gets right on the back bumper of Justin Fuller coming off of 4 there. He's going to look towards the inside on the 51. This will be not going to be able to have it. 51 shuts the door on him. We go back here and we look at drivers who have pit in the past. Brian Rogers Jr., he's now passing for that 10th place position on Travis Wallace, so it's looking for him. And as we mentioned, Stefan Marinak, he's looking on the inside of J.D. Callahan, not going to be able to do it in this corner, but already moving up. He's now up in the top 10.
I tell you what, you take your eyes off the battle for a moment, it changes. 54 just got around that 16, and the 16 made a good hard charge at Justin Fuller, but it wasn't enough. He had to back down a little bit, which screeched those tires in the corner. Now it's just enough for Charlie Ryan to get around him. Just a couple laps from that for those tires to get up for Charlie, and then I'm going to assume that car's going to start getting only better on those long runs. And yeah, like you said, that 25 is making hay throughout the field, trying to see what he can do. Look at the block from the 16 on the 24 of Brandon Otto all the way down to that yellow line. I don't know if that's what you call hard racing or just really trying to defend your position, but that 24 did not appreciate that move. All the way down to the yellow line was those two drivers, but the 16's where he wants to be, still in the back door of the 54.
We just hit within 30 laps to go, so you're going to start seeing that kind of racing from drivers, just trying to secure their position, make sure they're not getting challenged while they're trying to challenge for other positions. So as these laps wind down, they're winding down pretty quick, as you mentioned before, so you got to make every move count, every pass count, and that's what the 16 of Dale O'Neill was trying to do.
Yeah, and that worked out for him. He's still in third, still trying to go on the back bumper of whatever's left of Charlie Ryan and that 54 machine. And that 54 machine's not going terribly too far. He has his gains and he loses a little bit every once in a while. Perhaps he's worried about behind him, but perhaps the 16 should be worried behind him, because Odo is so close to being to him as well. And then look back behind them, the 71 of Nicholas Rasmussen started 6th. He's up 1 position to 5th. But Brandon Otto back up from 17th to the 4th starting position. And then you got to think about behind them. Stefan Marinak started at the back of the pack from this restart, and he's all the way up to 7th. Does he have enough time to get out to the front, as we're almost a quarter of a way till the end of this race?
Yeah, he's slowly making his way up to that 71 of Nicholas Rasmussen. And Rasmussen, he's kind of been just, waiting it out, not really trying too much out of this track so far. So maybe he's trying to save his stuff. He knows how important these tires are here at this track. So he's in a pretty good position. He's sitting 5th right now. So I'm going to be looking to see that 71 come up through the field soon, as now everybody is really tight together now, as the 54 has caught right back up to that 51 of Justin Fuller. And as the 16 of Dale O'Neill, 24 of Brandon Otto, Dale O'Neill was right on the back bumper of that 54 machine coming out of the corner. As you see Brandon Otto try to challenge for that 4th place position, he goes on the inside of Dale O'Neill. He's not going to be able to clear him this time, but he will be able to clear him going into 3, it looks like, as you see Stefan Marinak trying to follow him through.
Yeah, and that's a good idea for that 71 to try and get in. That's Rasmussen trying to get on the inside of that 16, and 16 salvages that spot. He's going to try the crossover on the straightaway. 16 back to the bottom. He does not want to give up that spot, and he's driving it as hard as he can. I don't know how long those tires are going to last, but that 16 does not want to give up. That Dale O'Neill machine not wanting to give up anytime soon, and that shows a lot of spirit on that driver as he goes up the track just a little bit, gets that 24 up, and he's going to hit the wall, scrub the wall just a little bit. That's that 16 going a little higher in the corner. Not exactly what the 16 was planning on, but it definitely helped him out a little bit. He's going to be able to keep that spot, and Rasmussen, he should be able to follow in behind them. Stefan Marinak, I just looked at their lap times. He's not gaining on them at all. They're running basically identical lap times, the top 6 cars, and whoa, look at that 24. I think he wants a little bit of payback right there.
Yeah, definitely hard racing by Dale O'Neill, and Brandon Otto did not appreciate that at all. He was right on the back bumper on that front straightaway, going to be slow off the corner here. He does have significant right side damage after slamming the wall when Dale O'Neill just went up the track a little bit, but that had to be good for Charlie Ryan and Justin Fuller. They're still pretty close together, so with that battle behind them, it gave them a little bit of a buffer to try to work their things out, as Charlie Ryan is still on the back bumper of that 51 machine.
Yeah, and he's going to be faster than him. And look at the lap times. He's about half a tenth quicker about every lap. And when you're that close to a driver, you're going to stop giving him room at about 15 laps to go, 10 laps to go. And basically, if he makes a mistake, you're going to make him pay for it. And as we watch him, he gave a little bit of room there in turn 1. Probably not to his benefit, but just kind of to keep the racing in check until he really needs to be racy and makes the pass and makes it so that he doesn't have a second chance to get back at him. Speaking of second chances, that 16 is probably not going to have much soon. Those two are going to battle, and 24 is in the wall. It's still blocking Nicholas Rasmussen all the way to the bottom of the track. He's going to make that pass all the way in the yellow line. He's going to make it on the inside of that 24. Very upset with that 16, I'm sure, and he's still in the outside lane. I don't know. Odo's probably going to lose another spot here, and then he's going to probably lose another one to Marinak just because he's got a lot of damage on that car and he's losing the momentum, and the tires as well is going to be a factor too.
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to be keeping my eye on those two as we got a battle for the lead here. Justin Fuller chops the nose off of Charlie Ryan. Charlie Ryan got on that inside line, got a little bit loose. He's going to fall a little bit back, maybe a car length back of Justin Fuller. You know, a lot of tough racing. Everybody blocking, everybody racing as hard as they can. We're only, you know, about 20 laps to go, so everybody making their moves now. You know, Nicholas Rasmussen was able to slide by Brandon Otto as well as that 25 of Stefan Marinak. Stefan Marinak, you know, as you mentioned, they weren't really running. He wasn't really running faster than all the guys. He was kind of just identical. Now he's almost right back up to that 71 machine.
Yeah, and these cars have dropped off about 2 or 3 tenths just from about 5 laps ago, just because of the hard racing, not just because their tires are falling off, but the harder these guys race, of course, it's going to get those guys behind them a little more room. The reason the 54 was able to make that move, or at least try that move, was because everyone behind him was battling. The 16 was, you know, he's been a little bit slow just because of the tires and trying to block and him wearing the tires out earlier on this run. But then the guys behind him, even so, Rasmussen, Marinak, and Otto, that's how they run now. They've been running really hard with each other. So that 54, I think that was the last chance he had at this point. I mean, it's 4 tenths back now, and I don't see him gaining any because he's off by about 2 tenths of a second each lap, or at least that last lap he was. And the 54, I think that might have been his last shot as he's still losing ground.
Yeah, definitely not the run that the 54 wants at this stage in the race. I'm pretty sure he'll still be happy with that 50, that second place finish, as Brandon Otto just continues to lose time. Just a little bit of right side damage, as I mentioned before, that's going to slow him up after contact with the 16 that ran him up the track. So very, very upset. Brandon Otto still upset with that 16 machine, but we're going to go back up here to Stefan Marinak. He's right behind that 71 machine of Nicholas Rasmussen now. He's going to be trying to look for it going into turn 3. He's not going to make the move this time. I'm going to expect him to try to make the move going into turn 1.
Yeah, Marinak may be kicking himself because when he took those tires, that basically put him in the back of Wolves, and he's in 5th, and it's still going to be a good finishing spot for him. But I think it's way too late for this kind of for the spot he had. He had first position, and at this point in the race, he's just going to try and have to make up for whatever he lost. He's trying to get that behind or in front of that 71 and also pass that 16. But at this point, top 3 is going to be the best he can get as long as those two are going to move over, but that ain't going to happen either. He's really going to have to fight for that top 3s. They're going to bunch up real close. They're going to be bumper to bumper. 71 on the inside makes a nose. He's still there. Contact does not ensue, but very close. That's 16. We've seen that move from him before, and that's going to leave the door open for the 25 on the very bottom. That's it. That's 16. He's definitely making himself known that he's not going to let you have that position unless you wreck him. It looks like that 16 is losing his chances, but he's got the position. So to him, I'm sure it's all good because he's still in 3rd place, still fighting for that top podium spot as we have a little under 10 laps to go.
Yeah, it's, as we see Nicholas Rasmussen get in the wall, that's going to leave the door open for the 71 Nicholas Rasmussen. He's going to get back on the inside of Stefan Marinak. Going to make contact with the door a little bit there. Going to sit, not going to really matter there. Stefan Marinak going to still get the run. He's going to challenge him again on the inside. Not as close as they are. As they get real close, as Nicholas Rasmussen comes up the track, almost gets into that left side corner panel of Stefan Marinak. Stefan Marinak going to go on the inside of 16 right to the bottom. So he's going to make quick work of the 16. Going to clear him out of 2. Not quite yet.
Yeah, the 25 knew exactly where he wanted to go, and the 16 had to pull over, and 25 did not go straight to the bottom in that corner, maybe to show a slight displeasure of that 16 of racing the way he is, but that 16 still holding on to 4th, trying to still hold off the 71 of Rasmussen as we're having lap traffic ahead of them. 2 leaders are gone, and neither of them are losing or gaining any, and the 71 and 16 are doing battle right out of 4. 16 is going to go right by the 71 of Rasmussen. I don't know how the heck he got off the corner that quick, but he got really, really good off the turn 2, and he's kind of back in the fight, it looks like, still in 4th. This is really a good battle with the last couple laps to go, or last few laps to go, really, as we have about 5 laps to go. That 16's looks like a second wind here.
Yeah, definitely. It's really one of the only battles on track we have going on right now here, Coop. Everybody else seems to be a little bit single file. There are some close little groups that could form into battles, but right now this is really the only battle we're seeing right now between the 25, the 16, and the 71. If we go up here to Charlie Ryan and Justin Fuller has pulled almost a second on Charlie Ryan, who had a little bit of a mix-up with the 51 machine a few laps ago, where in turn 1 the 51 shut the door on Charlie Ryan, and it got the 54 a little upset, so still losing ground. And you know, Stefan Marinac gonna try and make his way up there. He's catching the 54 quickly as he's putting some time on that 16.
He doesn't have many laps to go. He's only got about 3 laps to go. 4 laps, count them, and then 3 at the line. He looks like he's catching him pretty quick. I don't think he can catch the leader at this point, but he can definitely get to the back bumper of Charlie Ryan and see what he can do with that number 54 machine with 3 laps to go. Justin Fuller does get the 3 in the air for him. It'll be 2 popsicle sticks next time, and then the 25 looking for another spot. You know, if you can't get first and you're trying the tire strategy, you can at least try for one more position. It looks like Justin Fuller's got his hands full with lap cars, barely navigates his way through. They're gonna get around the 43, limping around that 43. I don't know whether he's out of fuel or something, but that car is slow. We saw him up towards the front not too long ago, so tough break for Jason Stenny as he's a lap down in 19th place. Back up front, we're going to have the white flag in the air for Justin Fuller as lap cars are still plaguing the guys behind him, but Justin Fuller, all he sees in the air is that white flag, and he's not even looking in the mirror. Down to the turn 1, the guys behind him still fighting for second, and on the outside, look at Stefan Marinac trying to make that outside line work, trying to make it so that lap traffic, 51's out of gas. That's going to leave the 54 in a... Oh, they're all wrecking!
Oh, they're wrecking. 51 saves. Full around. Who's going to be? Oh, they're wrecking.
Stay for the win.
Charlie Ryan with the win. Oh my!
For the win.
Oh my! Justin Fuller runs out of gas going into 3 and then loses it in the middle of the corner. That allows Stefan Marinac and Charlie Ryan to make a move. Stefan Marinac loses it off the inside of the 54, and that's going to allow 54 to pick up his first win of the season here at Richmond.
Fuller hasn't even crossed the finish line yet. He's not going to finish unless he gets across the start-finish line here in a bit. You can see him still rolling as Charlie Ryan's doing a donut on the front straight away. He's gonna cross the finish line right now in 13th place.
That's going to be a huge hit in points.
Oh wow! I mean, that driver's basically locked in, but I thought that the 51 was going to have another shot at a great win. Oh my gosh, what terrible timing for that driver. Was it, I don't know, did he run out of gas?
I think he ran out of gas there, Coop. He was really slow coming off of 2, and I thought it was a lapped car at first, and then I saw the 51, and it was like I'm still, my brain's still trying to catch up to it. Charlie Ryan, your winner here, barely, as Stefan Marinac spins through the grass, so what an amazing finish here.
Oh my gosh, that was one of the most unexpected turn of events I've ever had to call, and I'm very glad I was on top of the booth, as I'm sure you are. We're going to take a second to digest what just happened here, folks, and we'll be right back here with you. We'll talk to the top 3, which is not going to consist of that 51. It'll be Nicholas Rasmussen, Stefan Marinac, and then your winner, Charlie Ryan, and how then the world that didn't happen and how the turn 3 events happened. You know, you can't blame any of those drivers for racing the way they did, just trying to get the win, do anything that you can. We'll see what their side of the story is and see if they're as excited about that finish as we are. This is LSRTV, the voice of sim racing.
You know, the straights are unbelievably long. The first time you come here, everyone tells you, you know, you'll be flat out 6th gear for 20 seconds. First time I was here, I lifted halfway down the straight. I didn't believe that it was still going. I was waiting to brake, and I was back on the power. And the Porsche curves are extremely fast and extremely narrow, so it's a tricky track. And you know, every year I've come here, you learn something new every time.
Le Mans is so fast. Wherever you accelerate, you are over 150 miles per hour. Going there, I realized everything you have done before was nothing.
So cool, yeah. Nate, what are you working on at the moment?
So I'm working on the animation for the game. We're working on getting pit crews fully developed, and that involves a lot of moving parts. So I'm going in and making sure that each moving part can dovetail smoothly into the next one, so that when you pull in for a pit stop, it looks like the real thing, as opposed to a bunch of jumbled pieces that suddenly stop and then go and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's so cool, but why aren't you working on the time model? Nothing?
Welcome back to the Richmond International Raceway, where we just completed the Eddie's Meat Market 100. And Chris, this was quite the unexpected journey we had to the start-finish line here for the last lap of this race with the 51 of Justin Fuller. First on the last lap, and then doesn't make it to the start-finish line. Quite the interesting thing. We talked over the break how many drivers were in the top 5, and they weren't even in the top 10 at the end of this because of gas. Something we rarely talk about with these machines because they do come down pit road, but ultimately led to a lot of changes, and you're going to hear them through this full field rundown for the end of the race. The unofficial results is Charlie Ryan winning the race. He had a lot of luck on his side, but he also forced his way to get past him, the 51 and the 25 for that win. And then the Stefan Marinac machine, he finishes out second, and then Nicholas Rasmussen 5.2 seconds back in third. AJ Hamill fourth. CJ Levere is in fifth.
Yeah, coming home in that 6th place position, AJ Bunch. Brian Rogers Jr. comes second. Carol Frenier 8th. 9th, John Ada. Alex Orions in that 31 machine. He's 10th.
Yeah, and then Sean Cool finishes out 11th. Brandon Odo will finish out 12th, 21 seconds back. Justin Fuller, 1 lap down, 13th. Dale O'Neill, 14th, 1 lap down. And Jay Dubeck, 15th, 1 lap down.
16th, Al Smith Jr. Jason Stinney, 17th. Justin McDuff in that 20 machine. He'll come home 18th. 19th is Travis Wallace, and J.D. Callahan goes all the way from 2nd to 20th.
And then rounding out the rest of the field is going to be James McIntyre Jr., 21st, Eric Spencer, 22nd, and then Eric Hagg, 23rd. Chris, we're about to speak to Charlie Ryan. I'm making my way to victory lane here. Quite the unexpected finish. I think that's going to be the only thing I have to say. Charlie, we just witnessed quite one of the most unexpected finishes, and I think, in your opinion, probably one of the best finishes you've ever been a part of for your career here at the Upstate Racing League. Tell us about that last lap, because that's, I think, what everyone wants to hear from you.
I don't even know, man. I'd kind of accepted second. I'd gotten up next to him once or twice and just was right there on his bumper, and I just cooked off the tires trying to find a way around him. So I'd kind of accepted second, and then coming out at 2, it just looked like he blew up the engine pretty much. I really don't even know what happened to him, and just going into 3, I threw it inside of him. It stuck, and I guess I won. Still kind of in shock. I was not expecting to win.
Yeah, you don't sound like the guy who won. You sound like you don't know exactly what happened, which is kind of what we were thinking. During the break, we were trying to digest exactly what happened. But you start 18th. Talk about the rest of your day. The last lap was quite exciting, but you had to get up to second somehow, and even at least to take a stab at that number 51 machine. Go through what happened throughout your race.
I to be quite honest, I hadn't practiced at all, and I just like a setup that kind of leans on the right rear. And I mean, the first time I dove it off in a turn 1 at the start of the race, I was like, I think feels really good. And then it just kind of marched up through the field. I mean, I wasn't expecting to be passing guys like Brandon Otto and stuff. Like, I thought I was burning off my tires or something, but I guess, I don't know, I just had a feel for the setup. I like Richmond, and decent setup at Richmond. I mean, I still am in disbelief. I really wasn't expecting this tonight.
Now, out of turn 4, we'll go back to that last lap between you and Stefan Marinak. Marinak was basically dirt tracking it off. Did you come down maybe to force him to try and keep the car together, or did you just not have any handling off the corner?
It was really just going for it there. I mean, I definitely didn't turn into him, but I wasn't going to give him any room there because, I mean, I knew it was going to be me and him. So, I mean, I was just going for my first win there.
Well, in great fashion. I think this is going to be one of the most memorable finishes for a while, especially for you, to get that finish. And sometimes it's not the guy who's the best, because you were definitely strong out there, but sometimes it's the guy who's one of the luckiest out there. And we saw you get a couple breaks, and then, of course, the biggest break for you right there at the end. You already said that this is quite the shock for you, but we congratulate you on your first place finish, first win for you. You got any thanks to give?
Yeah, man. I mean, I got to thank the sponsors on the car: Late Model Restoration, Jack Daniels, Josh Cotton for making the paint scheme. This thing has been since I switched to this paint scheme, I would have gone 2 for 2 with top 2. So I mean, it's been a good stretch, and I hope to keep it going here. I mean, just thanks to everyone, Can-Am Racing Series, all those guys, they know.
Well, digest this win. Go back and watch the broadcast after it's over, and then we can reminisce about next week. Congratulations on your win there, Charlie.
Thanks so much, guys. Have a great night.
Chris, I still think he's just in a little bit of shock, as we are, but talk about the 25 as well. I know you've caught up with him, Stefan Marinak. You cut down with him on pit road.
Yeah, I'm sitting here with Stefan Marinak, driver of the 25 machine. What a wild finish there, Stefan. Why don't you take us through that final lap from your point of view?
Well, I was totally content with finishing third. I was running behind Charlie there, coming to the white flag. And then I saw Justin get loose into turn 2. And me and Charlie, I think we both realized it at the same time, and we started racing really hard off of that corner. And they got side by side going into turn 3. And I knew my one chance to win was to push Charlie up into Justin, and it didn't really work out too well. I got a little high, and I was just close enough to Justin's quarter panel to where I net coded into him. And it was still my fault. I shouldn't have been that high, but we were all going for it. And then after that happened, I did have a run on Charlie, and I got under him, and I clipped the apron. I screwed up, and when I clipped the apron, I got loose and got up into him and spun myself out. But that was wild. I'm happy with second, though.
Yeah, and we're gonna rewind a little bit here. You started 11th, finished second, but there was a whole lot of battling in between that. The stat sheet just doesn't do the race justice. How was this race, as a whole for you?
It was a really good race. I passed a lot of people, and I really like how we had 4 tires because it really changed the strategy up. And at one point, I probably should have stayed out. I should have kept staying out, but I stayed out under one of those cautions with no tires. I had older tires than basically everybody. I think me and the 43 both did. And I was able to stay up front, and it was pretty cool. And then I decided to come down and pit and take 4 tires because I still had them available. And from that point on, I had to drive through the field, and it was a lot of fun. From where I was at, there was a lot of good racing going on.
Yeah, and off of Richmond, which is one of the bigger tracks we go to in this schedule, we're on to South Boston, which is probably one of the smallest tracks we go to in the season. Is South Boston one of the tracks you're looking forward to?
I like the bigger tracks that we run. I haven't run South Boston in years, so I really have no idea. But I really don't know. But I'm probably going to practice a little bit this week because I haven't run it in a while.
Well, before we let you go, we're going to give you one final chance here to give any sponsor shout-outs. Who makes it happen for that 25 machine?
First off, Mach 1 Racing Graphics and my teammate CJ and all the admins and sponsors at Upstate Racing League and you guys for doing the broadcasts.
Well, thank you for your time, Stefan. Congratulations on your second place finish after a wild race.
Thanks.
And there you have it. That's your second place finisher. A little bit content with second place after the final lap he's been to. That's Stefan Marinak. Now, Coop, I'm going to toss it over to you because you've made your way out of victory lane, which has probably been a struggle for you to get away from all the celebration. You've caught up with the 71 machine, Nicholas Rasmussen, on pit road.
Yeah, I think probably somebody who's the most confused out of all of us is probably Nicholas Rasmussen, and I caught up with him right here. You're in turn 1, you're in 5th place, and then you come out of turn 4, you see both the 2 guys in the top 3. You pass them both out of turn 4, and you're crossing the finish line 3rd, getting yourself another podium spot. It seems like every time I get to interview, which is kind of cool, but another great finish for you, Nicholas, and tell us how that last lap kind of transpired for you.
Oh, well, basically for me it all happened 10 or 15 laps earlier when I realized that I was not going to make it on fuel. So I decided to just try and hang with the guys who was in front of me, save a little bit. And with about 7 or 5 laps, I came to another realization, and that was if I continue like that, I'm not going to make it. So I had to drop back and save some fuel. And coming out of, on the last lap, coming out of 2, I basically my car started to cough, and going out of 4, the engine switched off, and I just saw what happened in front of me. Just cruised in between the cars and got 3rd. So obviously I'm happy with that. I kind of wished that I realized early on that I needed to fuel save more on the caution, because then I could have been up there hopefully and fighting for the win. But all in all, I'm happy with 3rd place. It's a good result, and I'm sure I'm not the only one who got caught out with fuel today.
Yeah, it's apparent at this point. I don't think we've got confirmation of it that Justin Fuller actually ran out of fuel on that last lap to cause the accident. We don't have confirmation, but we do believe that's the case. And obviously, he's not the only one. Yourself, him, and a few other drivers along with that. They were in the top 5 with you, and they kind of they just dropped to the back of the field, presumably gas issues. with the way you pitted, you were saving at least what you thought coming across the start-finish line coasting. Just go with us through your day. I didn't get to catch the first portion of your race, but tell us how your day went in general.
Well, it's a good race. Decided very early on that I was going to try and conserve as much tire as I could. So the early part of the race, I basically just ran some laps and saw how the race would unfold in front of me and behind me, and decided to pit around a little before midpoint. Did not take fuel, which would come back to haunt me later. The plan was there to just, again, after the pit stop, ride around a bit, try to make up some positions, but still save the tires. Unfortunately, I was a bit too aggressive, accidentally tapped Al Smith Jr., and that cost me, both him and me, some time, and I had to use up a bit of my tire, so there at the end I didn't have as much grip as I would like, but kinda found a line that worked for me, which allowed me to fight with the guys up front, and then the fuel issues happened. Again, I'm happy with third place here. It's a good solid result again, and that's exactly what the team and I need, so we could get into the chase.
Well, just so you know, you're going to have a huge advantage off of the misfortune of that 51 of Justin Fuller. He finishes 13th while you finish 10 points or 10 positions ahead of him. You're going to have a nice, comfy lead going into next week. How does that feel?
Well, it feels good, but again, this is all about getting into the chase. Everything will kind of get the reset once we get into the chase, so it's not too much of a deal. Of course, it's always nice to be the points leader. I also know that Justin Fuller out there, he was fast all day, got pole, and whatever happened there on the last lap cost him a lot of points. So obviously that's not good for him at all. But as I said, it will get reset once you get into the chase, and that's where it's gonna matter. So hopefully when we get in there and the last race is over in the chase, we will be where we are now, which is in the first place.
Well, we thank you for your time. Before we let you go, you got any shout-out sponsors like you always do?
Yeah, definitely. Again, Gap SRT, the team, really proud to be here. Really starting to see the results come from our hard work. So a big thank you to the team principal, Floris Pichier, who's keep faith in the team and in us drivers here. It gives us a lot of confidence. I gotta give a shout out to my teammate Jason Stenny, who actually called me over the radio during the race and said, "Hey, you might want to take a look at the gas or your fuel usage, because you're not gonna make it to the end." So I'm pretty sure if he hadn't made contact with me there, I wouldn't have been here speaking with you guys. And then obviously again, a big thank you to you guys in the booth, always providing a great broadcast, and I hope everybody enjoyed today's race. Just watched the finish, and it was quite epic. So I'm looking forward to watching the whole race.
Well, sometimes I guess it pays to have some teammates out there. Nicholas, congratulations on your third place finish.
Thank you very much.
Well, Chris, as we start to wrap this one up, it's kind of hard to get your mind around it. I'm gonna have to watch this one later tonight too, as a spectator, and just kind of see exactly what happened. It all kind of started happening really quick, with the 51 starting to lose it into turn 3, and then all calamity broke loose with 2 cars in that top 5. We forget to mention Dale O'Neill, who was in that top 5. He didn't run out of gas. He was actually involved in that accident. So. And he wasn't able to get back to the line, as Justin Fuller was at least able to limp it across the start-finish line at the very end. But gosh, what a crazy amount of events. It felt like there was a lot of tension throughout the entire race, that something big was going to happen, and, well, it happened right at the very end.
Yeah, definitely. I'm so glad that, I'm so glad I was able to call this race. with you tonight. It was such a crazy race all in all, and even crazier finish. So I'm probably gonna have to watch it as well just to see what happened, because I'm still confused on what has happened. There were so many cars in so many different places at one time. So it's gonna be interesting to watch it back when we get the chance.
And as we start to wrap up the broadcast here, we want to thank everybody for joining us tonight for the Upstate Racing League, presented by Eddie's Meat Market 100. This was quite the show, and after week off, they did not skip a beat of action, and to bring it home in the lead, as Charlie Ryan said, he was content with second, but I'm sure he's extremely happy to get first, and once it starts to settle in, I'm sure the celebration will really start to begin. From all of us here at LSRTV, myself, Austin Coop, alongside Chris Murdoch, and of course, Cisco Escarmuza in the production booth, we all thank you in the LLC as well, with Evan Pasoko, and all the rest of the crew. From all of us here at LSR TV, thanks for coming in, and we'll see you at the next track.
This copyrighted broadcast is presented under the authority of LSRTV LLC and iRacing.com Motorsports Simulations and may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form, nor the accounts and descriptions of this event disseminated in any way without the express written permission of Live Sim Racing TV. LSRTV would like to thank its loyal fans for their continued support, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast.